Hello there, I am Fat32 here once again with another video of an older Acer. Now this Acer is from about late 2000 to mid 2001 vintage. It's got fairly good parts for its time actually. The only drawbacks to this machine when it was being sold was the fact that it was sold with Windows 98, but you did have the option to upgrade to Windows 2000 for the extra money of probably like $70 or something, I don't know. Anyway, this machine came with Windows 98 on it. The hard drive that was originally in it is no more. It died a long time ago, long before I had it. Because when I got it, it had a different hard drive in it. It was a 6 gigabyte Fujitsu drive, and I know for a fact that was not original. This would have came with a 15 gigabyte Seagate, but that's gone, and now there's a 20 gigabyte Seagate in there that you'll see in a moment. These had the option for a CD burner right here on the top where this A-Open CD-ROM drive is. This A-Open CD-ROM drive is actually a piece of crap. Every one of these that I have will not open when you press the eject button. Sometimes you gotta slam it, and sometimes you just gotta use the emergency eject button. Sometimes it'll work fine, but as soon as you turn it off and back on again, it won't open. Now you can see this one has been upgraded with a quite yellow JustLink compact disc rewritable 24 speed drive, as it says right there. High speed. Anyway, on the front here we have Acer Veriton 5200 USB ports, microphone in and headphones out, a hard disk activity LED, a turbo LED, a power LED, the power button, which is an old style one. Don't know why that's like that. It's like the ones they used on the AT computers. Kind of different. We have the 3.5 inch 1.44 megabyte floppy drive, and an Intel Pentium 4 logo. Put that down. Alright, so on the back, we've got the Acer logo. It was manufactured on the 14th week of 0. I'm gonna guess that means 2000, but that would be wrong because Pentium 4 wasn't invented until November of 2000 or October of 2000 or so, so it could be the 40th week of 2001, which is believable actually. So I would place this at about mid 2001 or so, judging by that. But that could be completely wrong because I don't know how to read that properly. On the back you can see there's the power switch. When you flip this, when it's plugged in, it turns it on. If the power switch on the front is in the in position, or the on position, which will be pushed in, the power input for 115 volts AC, or if you flip the switch, 240 volts AC, PS2 ports, USB ports, Ethernet, 2 serial ports, this one's COM1, this one's COM2, an LPT port, game port, line in, line out, line in, microphone in. And then you've got your video card, and 3 PCI expansion slots. The video card would take up 1 AGP expansion slot. And on some models with the onboard video, well, I shouldn't say some models because it was the older 5100 that had onboard video, you could have a second COM port here. I have only seen that on the Celeron models of the Veriton 5100, which are not rare at all. The Pentium 3 1 GHz models of the Veriton 5100 are quite rare and hard to come by. I am probably the only person on YouTube that has one. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. You can see that this motherboard may have been designed for use in larger cases, as there is a spot for a riser that connects right beside the PCI bus, probably to extend for 7 expansion slots. There's 4 here, so this would probably have 3 on it for a larger, full ATX case. The chipset, the generic Pentium 4 chipset, it has an SIS chipset in it, although the South Bridge has an Intel logo on it, but under there it's an SIS chipset. Kind of odd. And this video card here, let's see if I can get this where I can see it. It has an AMIC IC ROM there for the video bias. Who made this freaking video card? Let me see. Doesn't say, but I think it might. I think if I remember correctly, it was SIS, and I think it was an NVIDIA-based card. Let me just see here. Can't remember. But anyway, this is the security switch. So when you pull the case off, the case has a little tab right there, and then when the switch is pressed in, nothing happens. But when it's depressed like this and pushed back in, the BIOS knows that it's been opened, and since I've done that a bunch of times, it's probably gonna freak out at me, but whatever. You can see the turbo light on the front is disconnected and routed into the front panel itself. This is the audio and USB board. They just connect to the motherboard. Don't know why they bothered to put it on a board. They could have just put the cables directly to the headers, but then it would be more difficult to mount, and to make a long story short, a pain in the ass. There is room for 3 hard disk drives and 1 floppy drive. Not 2 floppy drives, because you can't really stick a floppy disk in through this blue part. It's impossible. But there is mounting for a floppy drive here. Probably considering all these racks are the same. These are 2 of the same ones. They're not different in any way. Same exact mounting racks. They even have the same part number. So yeah, there's one. Originally the hard drive comes right here. There would be a floppy drive here, and 1 CD-ROM drive underneath that I just showed you. And you would have the option to add 2 more hard drives if you wanted, because only 2 IDE channels were taken up by the CD-ROM, the hard drive. So there's 2 free ones. Of course, they'd both be slaves. So yeah, let me get this off here so I can show you guys the motherboard in more detail. Oh, I don't like taking that out too often, but anyway, yeah, the case is kind of flimsy, being it an Acer. And there's the heatsink, which is, the fan's in good shape for now. I'm pretty sure it's socket 478, but it could be a 423, although I doubt it. Oh man, you can see there's the CD-ROM drive mounted there, and the CD burner seems to be just held in by gravity and 2 screws on the other side. And the top one's held in by all screws. I don't know what's up with that, but I guess the top one, they just didn't have the mounts, or something like that. Yeah, all the capacitors are in great shape actually. I noticed the CD-ROM audio cable isn't plugged in for whatever reason that may be, but it looks like there's another one that is plugged in right here. There's a 4-pin CPU power connector, and underneath all these ribbon cables there's a 20-pin power connector right there. There's a clock battery under there, which is still alive, I think. Yeah, there's where you connect. Actually, what would you connect there? Weird. It says memory stick, but for some reason I doubt that. I don't know. It could be a USB by the looks of it. It looks just like a USB header, so that's what I'm going to guess it is. So let's just say that's USB. The hard drive seems to be mounted by one screw here and one screw on the other side right here. Floppy drive right there. You can see the CD burner under there. No, you can't. And there's the power supply, which actually isn't too deep. Usually they're about like that. It's a smaller one, kind of like what they use in the HPs. Except this one's way better quality, considering it is China's finest. Was this made in China? Let me see. I don't know. It might. Probably is, but this piece, this board was made in Taiwan. Motherboard, probably made in China. I'm pretty sure that, no, it was made in Taiwan too. Taiwan, it's Taiwan, but it seems the electronics that come out of it are about 30 times as reliable as the ones coming from China. And compared to the ones from China, they will survive a war. Now the parts that are made in Japan, and even the United States, those things will survive a goddamn apocalypse and still work. But, anyway. Let me just undo this screw here, which is almost stripped out, but still more than easy to unscrew. Here you can see the Seagate drive. I think it's a 20 gigabyte, and the power supply in here is a. Okay, this was made on the 33rd week of 2001. This power supply, so that's not that old. Oh, let me see. Who made this power supply? I cannot tell. It's a 200 watt, and I do believe it does put out that much, actually. It's a pretty good power supply. I think the one on my Veriton 5100 is a C-Sonic, but I could be wrong. I honestly don't know. I think I just broke the floppy drive. Yeah, I just broke the floppy drive button by bending it up. Probably shouldn't have done that. That was a really dumb thing to do. Now I'm going to have to take it apart and fix the floppy drive. Oh well. Oop. I set it on a pile of screws. Probably shouldn't have done that. I'm wrecking this thing. Okay. Yes, hard drive's held on by 2 screws. I'm going to fix that right now. See, I have some screws here to put in it. So, yeah. That's all I really have to say about that. Let me see, there's something I wanted to talk about, but I forget what it was. Oh yeah, RAM. It uses PC133 or PC100 SD RAM. No DDR RAM in this system. That's about it, really, for now. There's the BIOS chip right there. I've now put screws in it. I don't know, just one of the screws was coated in blue for whatever reason, so it's kind of weird. I'll throw that over there. It's like someone colored it or something stupid like that. Don't know why anyone would do that, but whatever. Yeah, you can see it's got all the slot blanks. It's never had any cards put in there. This one's stock from Acer. You can see the Acer OEM sticker, which is on everything, except most of the parts have the older Acer sticker. That one's the newer logo, like that's on the front panel. Actually, one thing about these older Acers that use this case. See that new logo? that was used on the Veriton 5100s with the Celerons. So this was used on all the non-rare machines, and the rare versions had the older logo like the one I have does. But yeah, some of the Celeron ones that aren't rare had the old logo too. Those were just using the leftover faceplates, because when they changed that new logo, that was right at the time they were starting to go downhill on parts. This one, that's not as cheap as it looks. This one, it still has fairly good components, with an exception for the CD drive, but these were actually great drives when they were new. It's just over time the belts wear out and they don't work right anymore. But this one's still using fairly reliable components. They're not just getting cheap motherboards. This one was designed by Acer themselves. Same with the Veriton 5100s and all the older boards. Acer designed and made them with their own 2 hands, or own 2 million hands, more accurately, but it's not just outsourced to like some cheap OEM like PC chips, although I'm pretty sure no one's stupid enough to OEM anything to PC chips, because that would be quite disastrous, as we all know. But yeah, most budget systems of the time would be limited to 2 RAM slots, no AGP slot, really bad onboard video, a cheap processor such as a Celeron, which is what they did when they changed everything over. Even the Veriton 5100s, they got Celerons put in them. But yeah, they were still relatively reliable. In fact, they are reliable. It's about when they moved away from the good old beige casing, when they moved into the whole new color scheme of the 21st century, is when they started using crap. But not the point of this video. That fan's on there, kind of weird. You can see the fins are separated from the screw stuffed in there. The motherboard is a model number SH1MMB. The BIOS is revision number U29, or the BIOS is revision 1. So yeah, it's got a place for a case lock, which all of the Veritons of this era had. 3 memory slots, as you know. CPU socket, which I still don't know what it is. I don't really want to take it off. There's just no point. I just noticed that there's actually lines around the sections of the PCB. Like, you'll see there's a line right there by the memory slots. No, you can't really see that on the camera, but there's lines around sections of the PCB and what components they go to, which is actually something I haven't seen for years and years and years. Yeah, they even have a line around the networking part. It goes from like here all the way over around some components here, and then it goes over somewhere to a chip. I don't know. But I'm rambling on now, so should probably stop. I forget what I was gonna say. Don't just hate it when you forget what you're gonna say. Like, you're gonna say something and then you forget. Oh, so stupid. Anyway, you'll notice the floppy drive connector isn't by the IDE connectors like it usually is. Usually it's either an IDE connector, then the floppy connector, or the IDE connector, floppy connector over here. But on this board, it's turned sideways and put there. I have seen weirder locations, like way up here, where the AGP slot would be on a cheap HP board. Yeah, it was kind of awkward if you had a floppy drive over here to run the cable on to the other end of the case. But anyway, that's not what the point is. The point is nothing. there is no point. Anyway, it's fairly easy to install hard drives. You don't have to work around anything. You can just take the cage out, put the hard drives in, and stuff the whole cage in. There's no working around crap and stuff. So yeah, let me put this back together. Alright, it's sitting on a stack of crates and ready to power it up. Everything's hooked up. So, flip the switch on the back. There it goes. Let escape. Entering setup, okay. There we go. It's an award bias, obviously. Product information. You can see that's the bias release date. So I placed this as being made around or manufactured around September to maybe November 2001. Maybe even older than September, because this could be a newer BIOS, mind you. Oh wow, my hand looks weird to the screen. Okay, that's cool. But anyway, get sidetracked too easily here. Standard CMOS features, let's see what's in there. Apparently it's January 1st, 2001. So much for the clock battery. I guess that's gone now. So I'm going to have to put another one of those in there. Huh. That's weird. Nothing. Yeah. Okay. So the hard drive is an ST3153. Okay, it's an ST315323A. Oh my god. That could actually be a 15 gigabyte drive. There's no primary slave. Secondary master is the CD-ROM, which has no name on it. And then the bottom drive is apparently an A-open drive, which is sad but true, I guess. It can support a second floppy drive for a 5 1/4 drive, which is pretty neat. Okay, virus warning. Here's the silent boot and everything. Configuration table. Interesting. Hard disk boot priority, blah 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 blah. Yeah, you get the point. Advanced chipset features. Okay. Apparently it's a 64 megabyte video card, which I find hard to believe. Yeah. Power management. Yeah, you get the point. All that fancy stuff. Frequency control. Yeah, I kind of thought so. That's a 1.5 gigahertz Pentium 4. Kind of like I thought. I think I was gonna see. No, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Yep, just an award BIOS. As you can see, let's see, Pentium 4, 1.5 gigahertz. Looks like it's got 384 megabytes of RAM, judging by that number right there. Okay. Yeah, that looks fun to continue. Hard drive makes a neat sound. Probably can't hear that. Power LED on the front barely works. in case any of you are wondering how this old style power switch is connected to the board, it's actually a 3-pin header instead of the 2-pin header for a momentary switch. And I pushed it in the on position, and then when I flipped the switch on the back, it turned it on, so that's that. Oh, looks like the video driver is screwed up again. Not surprised. Keyboard's working. Floppy drive is doing something. Yeah. I don't know if I'll have this computer much longer. I might get rid of it because I don't know. But I'll probably keep it because I don't really want to get rid of it. Alright, the speakers are turned down because I couldn't hear that. But anyway. Mouse isn't working. That's always nice. What's better than a mouse that doesn't work, huh? That's just the best. Alt F4. Oh, God. You gotta be kidding me. To restart just so I can use my frickin' mouse. I think I have to push the reset switch here. Oh, Christ. It's a 1.5 gigahertz Pentium 4, but it performs like a freaking 8 megahertz Pentium 3. Or not an 8 megahertz, 8 megahertz. Yeah, that's totally possible. Performs like an 800 megahertz Pentium 3. It's probably just Windows 2000 being the old operating system it is. Mouse this time. Thank God. So it looks like I should probably turn the speakers up, but whatever. Yay, mouse. I'll wait for that box to pop up so we can just close it. Go to the computer here. Give it a minute to respond. There we go. So now I guess it's responding. Yeah, 384 megabytes of RAM. So that's that. Okay, I'm just gonna shut it down now.